We all should know by now just what kind of monster Putin is. He helped elect Hitler and has murdered people in other countries using chemical weapons, attacked the United States, been worthless, and it has no bounds. After the pathetic showing in Ukraine from a military that the oligarchs have stripped for every bit of Russian money that they could get, they were sent into the meat grinder in Ukraine. Then he moved to talking about criminals and pulling them out of prison and throwing them into the jaws of death, assuming that it might win him the war. Well, that failed, and now the pardons that these people were supposed to be getting, well, now they are getting worthless pieces of paper instead. Russian inmates who were yanked out of prisons to fight in Ukraine have begun receiving their promised pardons for taking part in the war, but legal experts say the supposed pardons are actually bogus, and the program is to be expanded. The Russian Defense Ministry is making a special forces unit from prisoners, so they lose on the battlefield, and they are going to empty the prisons and throw them at Ukraine. It will decrease the bleeding, well, the economic bleeding. Don't have to house prisoners if you get most of them killed before shipping those left over back to prison because they're not actually being pardoned. Those with injuries will probably die, so they will have to spend even less on the prisoners. And Russian prisons are quite horrible. Here's a PR stunt from the Wagner Group. 3 of 4 of these men are missing body parts for a lost war and a piece of worthless paper.
Кровью, солдатским своим потом вы заслужили это помилование. Никто вам его не дал, не принес, вы его заслужили сами. Именно участием в боях, проявлением геройства. Поэтому рад вам вручить. Тебе вручается медаль за отвагу. Поздравляю, дай салу. Держи. Памятный знак ЧВК «Вагнер» за ранение. Грамота от начальника Национального центра управления обороны Российской Федерации. И самый важный документ, о котором я говорил. Справка об освобождении, о полном помиловании.
Now in the video, this is what they said. With soldiers' blood and soldiers' sweat, you earned this pardon. Nobody gave it to you. Nobody bought it. You earned it yourself, precisely for participation in battles and displaying heroism. A man off camera says that. These are criminals. So I don't have all that much sympathy. Rapists, murderers, and even a cannibal were pulled out of prison and sent into Ukraine to murder Ukrainians. However, this is further evidence that Putin will murder every single person in the world to get his way. Only the president can pardon, and this procedure is complicated and begins with the pardon commissions of regional public chambers. Regional public chambers have not considered anything. No petitions for clemency. So what kind of papers are being handed to the convicts? Who knows? So whatever's going on, it isn't about giving the prisoners a second chance. It isn't the first time, nor will it be the last time that Putin government just ignores our laws to get whatever's in Putin's head. This stupidity will only end when the war's over. And most likely all those prisoners released temporarily will be locked up once again, because putting rapists, murderers, and cannibals back out on the street probably isn't going to go over all that well. So, as we're finding out that the prisoners that actually survived the meat grinder in Ukraine are not going to actually get the pardons they were promised. and they were just more cannon fodder. And Putin announcing that he was going to take every single Russian and throw them into Ukraine because, sure, that's going to win him the war. Hundreds of thousands of Russians have escaped and ran away. More Russians have left Russia than actually showed up to join the military. And those showing up are getting old weapons, rusted weapons, and told that, they should be grateful because they don't actually need proper weapons. Russian troops in Ukraine are begging for mercy, with the dead and wounded reaching close, by conservative estimates, to 100,000. The 127th Rifle Regiment is looking for mercy. 127 is a mix of Ukrainian separatists and Russian draftees. They are having long interruptions of food and water while they are equipped with old, outdated weapons and protective gear. They are reasonably unhappy, as one of their sister units, the 109th Rifle Regiment, has already surrendered. They are actively complaining about their treatment and want to go home. It is surprising and still only a matter of time till they surrender or they are completely eradicated. When soldiers get like this, they lose the war. Whatever Russia thinks they're drafting the Russian people and emptying out prisons will do, it won't. All Russia is managing to do is kill many more people, making it more likely that their nation is going to collapse. Where the massive brain drain as people that don't want to die escape the economic collapse and being thrown into the meat grinder. It is those with money, those with good jobs, that are actually able to leave. We've seen this brain drain last time, and it's one of the many reasons that the USSR, which is now Russia, actually collapsed. Those that are wounded and need lifelong treatment will further destabilize the country. In America, we still have issues getting treatment for our soldiers. And the amount of our soldiers that were killed and wounded are nowhere near what Russia is facing. And we spent 20 years at it. They spent 6 months. And they're at 10 times the number that we experienced. And the speed at which Russians are dying and getting wounded is increasing as, they're running out of gear. Relatives of mobilized service members prepare and appeal to the law enforcement agencies of the Russian Federation about significant losses and the inaction of the military command. The Ukrainian General Staff said, "I doubt their pleas will go anywhere, but it will damage Russia's war effort. And luckily, it will make for a quicker defeat." So if you like those videos, please help. The YouTube algorithm is horribly biased against, progressives. And the Republicans have massive amounts of money just to buy it off. So every time you like, every time you put a comment down below, helps us out. So like, subscribe, and if you really want to help the environment, down below is a link to a GoFundMe page where it has a brand new power generation that is 0% carbon emission and one of the cheapest productions of electricity the world has ever had. So go down, help us out.